1 Corinthians 7:12-15. To the rest, I say this: if any brother has a wife who is not a believer, and she is willing to live with him, he must not divorce her. And if a woman has a husband who is not a believer, and he is willing to live with her, she must not divorce him. For the unbelieving husband has been sanctified through his wife, and the unbelieving wife has been sanctified through her believing husband. Otherwise your children would be unclean, but as it is, they are holy. But if the unbeliever leaves, let it be so. The brother or the sister is not bound in such circumstances. God has called us to live in peace. In this passage, Paul addresses believers who are married to unbelievers, offering guidance on how to handle such situations within the context of Christian commitment and peace. He clarifies that this instruction is his apostolic advice, not a direct command from Jesus during his earthly ministry, though it carries full spiritual weight. Paul advises that if the unbelieving spouse is willing to stay in the marriage, the believing spouse should not seek divorce. The reasoning is that the presence of the believer in the marriage has a sanctifying effect. This doesn't mean the unbelieving spouse is automatically saved, but that their relationship is under the influence of God's grace, and the marriage remains spiritually significant and honorable. Paul extends this idea to the children of such unions, declaring them holy, meaning they are included in the covenantal blessing and have a special place under God's care through the believing parent. However, if the unbelieving spouse chooses to leave, Paul says the believer is not bound in such circumstances, allowing the believing spouse to let them go without guilt or spiritual condemnation. His concluding statement, "God has called us to live in peace," affirms that the believer's well-being and peace are important to God. Comment with the word believer as we praise God for his blessings. May this verse be with you today as you walk with God. Follow and subscribe as we share a verse each day and break down what God is communicating to us